Today, we're going to get into the brain science of loneliness. Have you ever felt that really strange paradox of being lonely, where you desperately crave connection, but at the same time, the idea of actually reaching out just feels terrifying? It's this frustrating, invisible wall. So, why does that happen? Why does loneliness make you want something so badly, but also fear it? The answer, it turns out, is locked deep inside our brain's wiring. To really understand why loneliness feels like such a trap, we have to start at the beginning. We need to understand why our brains are so obsessed with connection in the first place. And it all comes down to our basic survival blueprint, the brain's built-in system for social rewards. For a social species like us, being part of a group was never just a nice to have. It was a biological imperative. It was a core survival strategy. Being together meant protection. It meant better access to food. It meant a much better chance that your kids would survive. So our brains evolved to treat social connection as something as essential as food or water. So how does your brain actually push you to be social? Well, it uses this really powerful cocktail of neurochemicals. You've got dopamine, which gives you that little bit of motivation, that push to actually go and interact. Then there's oxytocin, which people sometimes call the bonding hormone. It creates those feelings of trust and closeness. And then you have endorphins, which get released when you laugh with someone or even just get a hug. They create a sense of reward and can even dial down physical pain. All of this is your brain's way of saying, hey, this is good for you. Go do more of this. Okay, so that's the system when it's working perfectly. But what happens when it breaks down? When isolation isn't just temporary but becomes chronic, the brain's priorities get completely flipped. And this is how the trap gets set. This is where the brain goes on high alert. And here is the absolute crucial turning point. A chronically lonely brain stops making the search for those feel-good social rewards a priority. Instead, it dedicates its resources to scanning the world for social threats. It's almost like a glitch in our survival software. The world stops looking like a place of opportunity and starts looking like a place of potential danger. This comparison just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you have the socially connected brain. It's basically an optimist. It scans for opportunity. It expects to be included. But the chronically lonely brain, it becomes a pessimist. It expects rejection. And the key player here is a part of the brain called the amygdala, our little threat detector. In a state of loneliness, it becomes hypervigilant. It's working overtime, looking for any possible sign of social danger, no matter how small or ambiguous. Now, the really tricky part is that this hypervigilant state isn't just a one-time thing. It actually creates a powerful feedback loop, a downward spiral that becomes incredibly difficult to break. It's a trap that literally sustains itself. So what's actually powering this trap? It really boils down to two fundamental shifts in the brain. First, the reward system that makes socializing feel good gets turned way down. And second, the body's stress system gets stuck in the on position. Let's look at that blunted reward system first. This chart is based on brain scan studies, and it's absolutely fascinating. It shows that in people who aren't lonely, their brain's reward center, this area called the ventral striatum, it just lights up when they meet new people. But in people who are chronically lonely, that response is significantly lower. And what that means is that new social interactions literally feel less rewarding, which, you can imagine, makes it so much harder to find the motivation to try again. And while the reward system is getting quieter, the stress system is doing the complete opposite. It's going into overdrive. The HPA axis, which is basically our central stress command center, it gets stuck in the on position. This floods the body with higher baseline levels of the stress hormone cortisol. You're in this constant state of low-grade alert, which makes it harder to relax, and it means that even things that should help, like sleep or exercise, become less effective at bringing those stress levels back down. Okay, so let's put all the pieces together and just walk through this cycle step by step. It all starts with the brain anticipating rejection. That expectation kicks the hypervigilant amygdala into high gear, which then scans for and magnifies any potential threat. This, combined with the blunted reward system and the high stress levels, makes the whole interaction feel unfulfilling and anxious. And the result? The brain's initial prediction gets confirmed. It thinks, see, I was right. Socializing is dangerous and unrewarding. And that just reinforces the avoidance, making the entire loop stronger for the next time. So, with a cycle this powerful, you have to ask, is it just unbreakable? Well, not exactly. The science gives us a final, really important insight that sort of reframes the entire problem. It turns out it's not just about being around people, it's about perception. This quote here, it comes from a major review of different studies. and it points to something fascinating. It suggests that the most effective ways to help people aren't just about pushing them into more social situations. Instead, the best approaches target what are called maladaptive cognitions. Now, that's a technical term, but it really just means targeting the negative, automatic thought patterns that keep the whole trap going. And that really gets to the heart of it. The trap of loneliness isn't just about the absence of people. It's about a brain that has been trained over time to predict threat and to overlook rewards when it comes to the social world. So breaking the cycle means retraining the brain's expectations. And this leaves us with a final, and I think powerful thought. If the brain gets stuck in this self-sustaining loop of perceiving threats, could simply understanding the mechanics of that trap, knowing that it's your brain's wiring at work, not some fundamental truth about you or the world, could that be the first essential step to finally disarming it?